Hey guys, welcome back to our very last chapter of Take 10. There will still be one more video after this, but it's going to be more of a review, wrap up, and saying goodbye. So yeah, today our last chapter. Introducing me, just in case, my name is Hale. I'm from Mishawaka, Indiana. I go to school at Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, and I love flowers, drawing, and dogs. Hey guys! Second to last icebreaker with Sissy Girl here. So I've got my hat, and the papers in here have a question for us and a fun fact about Sissy. So, one of Sissy's siblings lives with my great-grandma. If I remember properly, her name is like Suki or something like that. And then, who is your favorite Disney character? It can be TV or movie. So for me, it's Mulan from the movie Mulan. I love Mulan. She's so cool. And I just love how she always stands up for herself and she's so brave. So yeah, I love Mulan. Go ahead and turn and tell a partner who your favorite Disney character is. It can be TV or movie. All right. I'm sure you guys had some great answers. I bet lots of you had the same answers probably. So that'd be pretty cool. Okay, now we're going to jump back into our video and continue with our lesson. Bye. Okay, ground rules. When we practice Take 10, we need to use these rules plus the rules of whatever place you're currently in. So, number 1, everyone has the right to speak. Number 2, no one must speak. Number 3, everyone must listen. 4, no put downs and no name calling. 5, disagree on issues, but don't attack people. 6, agree to disagree. And 7, keep a sense of humor at all times. Last time I asked you guys to try and remember trading perspectives. And more so, what is useful about trading perspectives? Well, once you understand and see the other person's side, there will be a lot of new ways to fix things. It's like a bunch of opportunities open up, and it makes it easier to solve your problem. So, once you're able to understand somebody because you've empathized and listened and traded perspectives with them, one of the new things that you can do is ask the other person what they need. You could also agree to disagree or compromise, maybe apologize, or find some other way to make things right. So yeah, once you trade perspectives and you truly understand each other, these things are all options you have to make the conflict better or get rid of it entirely. Whereas if you don't trade perspectives and you don't try to understand the other person, these options don't really work very well, or they don't come up at all. So that's why it's important to trade perspectives, and hopefully you guys were able to remember this. Today, for our last chapter, we are talking about walking away. So what is courage? Take 10 defines courage as doing the right thing, no matter what the cost or consequence. And walking away, it's verbally ending the argument and physically removing yourself from the situation. Sometimes you need to walk away. Sometimes, maybe you're trying to use Take 10, but the other person isn't, and you're just not getting anywhere. And, they're not trying to understand you, even if you're trying to understand them, and you feel like you're running into a wall. It does happen. I think we've all been there. And at that point, you need to have the courage to walk away. You need to feel like I did my best, and now the best thing that I can do for both of us is to back off and maybe come back to it later, and maybe not. It kind of depends on your situation. But there is a time for walking away, and it can be hard, and it can be scary, and sometimes people feel like walking away is like being passive. If you remember the word passive, it means letting people walk all over you and do whatever they want. but it's not actually. It takes a lot of bravery, and a lot of times it is the right thing for you to do for yourself, which actually makes it assertive, right? So how do you walk away? There are a couple different ways. Again, it kind of depends on what situation you're in, but one way is to explain that you want to talk through it later. So if somebody's getting really, really mad and they're not willing to take 10 to calm down, then they can't really trade perspectives with you and empathize and be a good listener and then problem solve, right? Because they're just so mad. They can't get past that part where they're so angry. So in that situation, maybe you just want to say, I do want to talk through it with you, but later, because you want to give them the chance to calm down because they're not doing a very good job of taking 10. If things are getting really escalated and they're just crazy mad and it's getting worse and worse and worse, sometimes the right thing to do is just politely say, I have to go, or even leave without saying anything at all. Because sometimes it's about your safety. Sometimes things are so bad in a conflict that you just have to leave right then and there without much explanation, just to keep yourself and the other person safe. This is important because we don't want any violence to happen. And if you walking away without saying anything is what it takes, sometimes you need to do it. Ideally though, especially like if you're in school or talking with one of your parents, you should ask to take a break from what's happening. So let's say you're in an argument with your teacher about something and you're feeling really frustrated and maybe you're having a hard time taking 10 because you just feel so angry. It might be a good idea to say, can we take a break from this? Can we come back to this later? I need a break. And a lot of times people understand that. Everybody needs a break from things sometimes. So these are all ways that you can kind of walk away from the situation. And if you think it's a good, safe idea, you can come back later and still jump right back into empathizing and trading perspectives and then trying to problem solve. But sometimes you do have to walk away. So, turn and talk with a partner. Teachers, feel free to pause the video for maybe 1 to 2 minutes. When was a time that you had to walk away from a conflict? And just kind of what happened? How did it go? Okay, go ahead. Okay, hopefully you're back now. So for me, a time that I had to walk away from a conflict was with this friend I have, and we were getting really upset about this homework assignment that we had to do, and we were not agreeing about how to do a certain math problem, and I was getting really upset because I don't like math very much. It's just hard for me, and everybody has stuff like that. And I remember just getting really, really worked up and feeling kind of angry and frustrated with my friend because they weren't making any sense to me. And what I did was I just stood up and I walked out of the room. And then I went and sat in another room for like 20 minutes before I came back. And I didn't say anything to my friend. I didn't say, you know, you're making me really mad, I'm leaving. And I didn't say, I need to take a break. I just got up and walked out. But that's okay. It's better to say nothing at all than to say something mean, right? So I could have said, you know, I need a break, but I didn't feel like communicating was best at the time for me because I was just so angry. So I just left. And that's totally okay. So maybe you guys have had a similar experience as to me. I feel like lots of people have a moment where they just got up quietly and walked away. So hopefully that's nice and relatable. If you can though, it is a good idea to communicate that you're going to walk away and say, I need a break, or let's come back to this later. Yeah. Okay, so now we are going to do a journal activity. This one is called To Walk or Talk. We're going to do this one a little bit differently than we normally do. because when I show my version, it's really got the answers. So I want you guys to pause the video now and go through it yourselves. So this is going to be a bit of a long pause, and I want you guys to go and work through this worksheet. And then when you come back, I will go through my answers, which are not exactly the correct answers. You know, you might have a good reason for picking what you did, but they're probably the ideal answers. So you guys go ahead and pause the video and work through this worksheet until you're done. Then come back and I'll go over my answers. Okay guys, welcome back. Hopefully you got through the worksheet okay. And now we will go through my answers and we'll kind of talk through them to make sure we're on the same page about when it is a good idea to walk away or if we should stay and talk. So the very first one says, you're having a conflict with a friend, but you think you finally understand their point. You're getting less upset. They are getting less upset too. So is this a good time to walk away or stay and talk about it? I think this is a good time to stay and talk about it. People are getting less upset, which means that it's going to get easier to talk, and you might not even feel the need to walk away. And you also think you might understand them now. So why don't we talk about that? We have something to talk about. That's good. Okay, and the next one. Someone you don't know very well has started shouting at you and is now throwing stuff at you. You're not even sure why they're upset. So in this one, I said walk. I don't really know what talking would do to help at this moment because you don't really know them. You don't know why they're upset. Not to mention, they're using violence right now. They are trying to hurt you by throwing things and shouting things. So when someone is using violence, if it's safe, then walking is always the best idea. So in this one, I said that it's a good time to walk it out and just walk away. Okay. And then you are having an argument with your mom. She sighed really loudly and put her head down. You're both still upset, but she's being quiet now. So this one's kind of a tough one on purpose. I said this is a good time to walk away. But I think you wouldn't walk away forever, right? You would come back eventually and talk it out. But you don't want to talk it out right away, I think, because you're both still upset and she sighed and put her head down. So to me, when somebody sighs and puts their head down, it kind of indicates that they don't want to talk right now. They want to take a break. So even though she didn't tell you out loud, I want to take a break, she put her head down. And to me, that's what that says, is that she wants to take a break. So maybe even you feel like talking it out, but if someone else indicates that they want to take a break, then you should probably just walk away and you can come back later. All right, and then last one. There was only one cookie left and you and your sibling both want it. This seems like an easy problem to solve and you already have an idea of how. So for this one, I said talk it out. There's no need to walk away because you both have an idea of how to solve the problem, and it is kind of an easy problem to solve, right? You're both there, doesn't say that anybody's super mad, so why not stay and talk it out? Okay, so hopefully this helped about when you might want to walk away, because sometimes it is better to just stay and talk it out. It's really about knowing when. Okay, so for next time, for our wrap-up video, I want you guys to try and remember these things about walking away. Courage is doing the right thing, no matter what the cost or consequence is. And walking away is verbally ending the argument, like with your words, and physically removing yourself from the situation. It can be really scary to walk away, and sometimes you just really don't want to, because you're so mad and you want to handle the situation right now. But you have to understand that walking away is the brave thing to do. It's the assertive thing to do, even if it might not feel like it, because you're standing up for yourself and saying, I don't want to mess up this whole situation and make my day and my life harder because I made this big, angry, violent conflict. You don't want to do that to yourself. I mean, what is there to gain, right? It just gives you a bad day. It's a whole headache. So it's the assertive thing to do to say, you know what? I'm going to walk away and I'll come back to this later. Or maybe I won't. If it's not safe, maybe you shouldn't come back later. But you have to know when to walk away because it is necessary in conflict sometimes. Not everyone practices Take 10, and as much as we would like to teach everyone how to use Take 10, your safety is important. Okay, guys. Try and remember those little points for next time, and I will see you for our wrap-up video. Bye!